Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I wanted to start this video off by addressing one thing. I saw somebody in the comments section that was talking about how I was talking about BitTrue and how could I know that this is the next Binance and all this. I'm just giving you my opinion. One thing since I started my channel that really offends me in a way is that sometimes I'll talk about things on the channel and such as an exchange or something like that, and then there are certain people that like to make an issue out of it. Why are you saying to go there and do that? I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is I'm doing it. I think it's a good exchange. I think BitTrue is a good exchange from the research I've done. But I'm always telling you to go do your own research. Don't go and open an account because I said so. Don't go and do anything because I said so. Take what I say as your initial idea if you haven't heard it before, and then go do your own research and decide for yourself. I don't assume that I'm talking to stupid people. I assume that I'm talking to smart people, and I have a reason to assume that because I've been talking to this audience for a while now, and I've interacted with a lot of them, and I know that there's a lot of smart people. There's a lot of people that listen to this that are much smarter than I am. And so the idea, to me, it's offensive, the idea that some audience member just listens to something and then can't think at all for themselves and do their own research before they go and open. That, to me, I'm offended that someone would think that way of my audience, because that's just so not true. But I still always give the same disclaimers. Hearing something from me, that's step one. Then you do your own research. I can throw out an idea, but that doesn't mean, in the past, just as an example, I've said I thought what would be a really interesting business to get into is all of these Bitcoin and eventually XRP ATMs that are coming out. Now, does that mean that if you go out and you decide to do that business, does that mean that because I said it seems like an interesting idea that all of a sudden it's a no-fail business and now you go do it? No, it doesn't mean that at all. If you don't run your business the way it should be run, you'll fail. It doesn't matter what the business is. And so that's just a silly, I guess the word, it's an immature type of a comment to make to me, in my opinion, to even say something like that. Because people, this is one thing that I feel like has in a lot of ways been taken out of our culture, and that is personal responsibility. Don't blame everything on someone else. You've got to do your own research in everything. You'll hear ideas from thousands of people in your life, but you've got to do your own research and your own homework. Don't assume that any one person has all the answers. Nobody does. I don't. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. Everyone does. And for that reason, you don't take the opinion of any one person like that. You hear what they have to say. If it makes sense to you, you can go research it further. That is common sense, basic information, folks. Okay, enough of that. This is XRP is surging yet again this morning. We've gotten back up to 45 cents. I really feel good about what's going on right now. Remember, XRP has gone up less than most of the top 10 digital assets, and it's the greatest digital asset ever created and has the most utility of any digital asset. And I can promise you, all these Bitcoiners and Litecoin guys, the ones that are like bragging about their returns, I can promise you, in the back of their mind, their greatest fear is what they know is coming, and that is the surge right on past their gains in XRP. Just a matter of time. Okay, next I want to show you this. This is from @XLightingTheWay. Sent me this, and I thought this was very interesting. This puts things in perspective, folks. This is from Crypto Jolie. Food for thought. If you were to sell or invest the equivalent to one Bitcoin right now into any of the following cryptocurrencies, and all it did was got to the previous all-time high, here's what your return on investment would be. Bitcoin is the worst ROI by a mile in this scenario. Look at this. And what they're showing you here is if you look at the first one, that's NEO. The all-time high for NEO is $196.85. Current price, now I don't know when they did this spreadsheet, probably in the last few days, but current price $12.36. Return on investment to match all-time high would be 15.92 times. Okay, and they're making the point here, and go all the way down to Bitcoin. The highest return on investment would be NEO, second Cardano, and if you follow the column over, imagine you bought one Bitcoin in today's Bitcoin, I guess around $8,700 worth of Bitcoin at the price, current NEO price of $12.36. You would have $137,266. So it's showing you the return on investment of all of these, and now who's to say whether that'll be matched this time or if it'll be the same type of return? But I think the point is that as these get higher in price, the ROI is typically less. But Cardano's the one I've got. Cardano's the one I'm really excited about on this next run, besides XRP, that is. But I do own some Bitcoin. Okay. But this spreadsheet really kind of lays it out. And I was telling my father this morning, if you think about how crazy it is, when you sit back and you realize all of the on-ramps and off-ramps that have been built in the bear market, and all of in Ripple's case, all of the production contracts and all of the things that they've accomplished during the last over a year. And if you think about all of the different things, regulatory things that have been worked on, and the progress that's been made around the world to get those countries to the point where they're okay with their citizens investing in cryptocurrencies and they feel like they've got all the rules in place. If you think about all this, and then add in the fact that Wall Street is literally within weeks, if not days, of coming in, you add all of those things in, and the idea that you don't hit all-time highs on, not on all of them, but all-time highs on the digital assets that after this bear market are still considered to have actual use and to be legitimate projects, to think that those will not hit their all-time high and crash through it with all of that foundation laid is absolutely insane. And my father, who's been around a lot longer than I, thinks the same thing. Okay, next from Abra, it's finally here. Abra is offering non-US users the ability to invest in stocks, ETFs, and commodities in over 150 countries. Starting today, investors can use Bitcoin to make fractional investments in stocks and ETFs with zero trading fees. You're starting to see it, folks. You're starting to see, and ultimately this is what you're going to see. You're going to have trading pairs, not with XRP and Bitcoin. You're going to have trading pairs with XRP and Apple, or XRP and a gold ETF. I mean, that's where all this is going. But what that means is mega liquidity, folks, because when you bring the stock markets of the world in, and the stocks and the bonds and the commodities of the world in, all of a sudden, instead of having 270 billion that is eligible to go through your digital assets, you're going to be having trillions that are able to go through your digital assets or be invested from one thing or another into your digital assets. And as is always the case, the cream will rise to the top, and XRP is the cream. Okay, next. Okay, from Mike Preston, at Mike Preston CW12, showed me this tweet from Mr. B, at XRP Mr. Both of them follows. Perspective. On 11/25/2017, Bitcoin was at $8,789. 11/25/2017, XRP was at 25 cents. We are way ahead of the game compared to the last time, like I just described to you folks. Okay, next. Hear that? Crickets. That's the sound of the complaints about transaction waiting time and fees as the XRPL volume blasts off. because it's the one that can handle it 2.0. What they're saying here, folks, in essence is, as this market has begun to start out, we've started to hear about the Bitcoin transaction time slowing and things like that. You do not hear about those type of things with XRP as things get faster and faster, because XRP is the greatest digital asset ever created, and everybody knows it. All these Bitcoin people know it. That's why they attack it. But watch, as this bull market unfolds, watch, folks. The log jams will be in Bitcoin, and the proof of work digital assets, they will not be in XRP. And that is your utility, folks. Okay, Diane B sent me this, at LIVN with passion. And this is a tweet from Barry Silbert. Remember, Barry Silbert runs the digital currency group, and they own Grayscale. And Grayscale has all of the different investment trusts for digital assets. Grayscale shot past $2 billion in assets under management today. Now that's exciting. But then crypto utility guy sent me this, at utility guy 7, at crypto at utility guy 7. This is an article about the GBTC. Now the GBTC is Grayscale's Bitcoin investment trust that I own in my IRA. And I've told you about this. I did misspeak the other day about whether they're physically investing in Bitcoin. They actually are. It's just not one for one. And I wanted you to see this. The title of this article is, let me go up. Bitcoin price shatters $11,000 on GBTC's 37% premium over skyrocketing demand. Now, here's the part that I wanted you to hear so that you kind of understood how this GBTC works. Each share of GBTC represents 0.00098247 Bitcoin, and a share is valued at $11.44. On major exchanges like Coinbase and Bitstamp, 0.0009847 is equivalent to $8.35. If an investor is to buy one full Bitcoin on GBTC, it would cost well over $11,000 due to the premium on the vehicle, the premium that GBTC is making, or that involves their costs to cover their costs and make a profit. And so the point here is, in essence, people are buying Bitcoin right now in GBTC at $11,000 per Bitcoin just to be able to get access to it, folks. And these are probably mostly people who do not know how to go to a Coinbase and open an account, don't understand all of that. So, but you understand the point. Effectively, Bitcoin is right now in some places trading at $11,000. That is the point. And I wanted to make sure I went and showed you the actual Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. This is the overview. Shares track the Bitcoin market price, less fees and expenses. And it's the symbol's GBTC. And let's see, the annual fee is 2%. Assets under management, I think in this ETF, this is probably old, 1.2 billion. Shares outstanding, 229 million. And then Bitcoin per share, and that's the number that we saw in that article. And so you can see, and then here's where they store it. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust assets are stored with Zappo Inc. as custodian in deep cold storage vaults. Bitcoin stored in Zappo vaults reside in multi-signature addresses, the private keys for which are protected by intense cryptographic, physical, and process security. So it's all safe. You can go there, you can invest in GBTC and not worry about all of that. Okay, and finally, I think I'll end this video with this. This is from EasyXRP, at ERST69. Success is no accident. It's hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, holding XRP. Now, folks, those of us that have been through this bear market, we are well aware of what this means. It's kind of like, I feel like Rocky at the end of one of his boxing match when he boxed the Russian guy. I can't remember his name right now, but that's how beat up that many of us have felt at the end of this bear market. But not just because of the bear market itself, but because people get really nervous and upset when the market is doing such things, and they tend to take it out and try to beat up on some of the people that are talking positively about things. But I've always been positive about this because I know how big it is and what digital assets represent for the world. And for that reason, I do not quit. I do not give up. I'm here to stay. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that success is no accident. There are a lot of parts to that recipe, and most of it is just pure hard work. Thank you for listening.